picture, curtain lights. This is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing apart. We know every part by heart. Overture, curtain lights. This is it, we'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Hey, it's good to see you here. I am Goose. This is On With the Show. I'm glad to be bringing back my podcast after so long. Like I said, we're gonna be bringing it back to the original format, to what I had before, kind of the original format that I had before, as best as I could get it. But if you've seen the video that I put out on our other channel, Travel by Nature, you know that I made the announcement that we bring him back on with the show, and that my very first episode coming back would be about the extreme makeover of Jojo Siwa. And it seems like she's getting battered all over social media, on YouTube and everywhere else. And I wanted to kind of chime in because I wanted to give my thoughts of what was going on. And I've come up with some. Actually, had while I was putting this together, I was doing some more investigating and some more research, and found some new things that are kind of like making me think maybe I was wrong. My first initial ideas were wrong, but let's get into this. Before we get into what's going on now, I want to go back to a few years from now, before JoJo was going through her new transformation and her new makeover with her new music and all this other stuff. And I want to go back to time when she celebrated her 18th birthday. When she was having her 18th birthday, uh, there were some people there who were videotaping and saying, "Ah, JoJo Siwa celebrate her 18th birthday, yeah!" And she'd come down the stairs with her big bow and the ponytail and the dress, and looking like her Nickelodeon self. And there were some people kind of online and on social media who were like, "Oh my gosh, poor JoJo, is she ever going to stop having to look like an 11-year-old? Is she ever going to have to stop, performing in front of 6-year-olds? I mean, she's a grown woman now. I mean, what is she going to do?" And so it went on where she had her birthday, she had her cake, and everything was fine. And I kind of wondered the same thing. I kind of wondered if this was where along the way was she gonna make a transition, or was she? Because honestly, the truth is, JoJo could retire and never have to work again. She's made that much money. She can live comfortably for the rest of her life. But as the years went on, we started to see her kind of break away from the child star that she was. She performed and was on The Masked Singer. She became a judge on So You Think You Can Dance, and we started to see her trying to like move away from the big bows and the ponytail and everything. She came out as a lesbian in 2021, and I was like, okay, this is a big step for her, because who knows how the parents of her young fans are going to react with that kind of an announcement. And then we started to see what was going on, because we all of a sudden um, heard she'd been doing some new music, and we had gone from having the young JoJo with the sparkly bow and the smile and the teeth and the ponytail, to the one that scared everybody, where she looks like the fifth member of Kiss. We don't know where in the world this came from. I don't, who knows whose idea was that she could. Oh hell, I don't know. Someone in her team thought, we need, if you're going to break away from the Nickelodeon, self, the dance moms, you're going to have to do extreme. You're going to have to go big. And she came out with, I think the first song that came off her album was Karma, which is where we saw the scary JoJo, which is what I call it, the scary JoJo. And now, for really quickly to talk about Karma, because she's been getting a lot of heat about the song Karma. And oh my gosh, she stole Karma. she took it away from Brett Smith. Well, not exactly, because apparently the interesting part is that this song Karma was originally offered to, of all people, Miley Cyrus. And this is according to the website genius.com. And it was originally offered to Miley Cyrus, who passed on the song and gave it to Britt Smith. And Britt Smith recorded it, produced it, and never released it. It was never released. And so it just kind of stayed on the shelves for wherever she was at. And this is not new. This is not something that you're sit there and say, well, this never happens. No, it happens all the time. I can go as far back as the 80s. We're talking about a guy by the name of Lindsey Buckingham, who was a very great guitarist, good singer, was a member of Fleetwood Mac, and he had a solo career. He had a song called Big Love that he had for his solo album, but they didn't put it on the album for some reason. So then he turned around, and when Fleetwood Mac reunited, all of a sudden he was like, you know what? I got this song here. We can use this song to finish out the album. And it became a massive hit for Fleetwood Mac. In fact, I think they pretty much didn't have to do much to the recordings except maybe lay some backgrounds onto it, whether it's background vocals or background tracks. And it became a huge hit for Fleetwood Mac, which was originally for Lindsey Buckingham. This is the same kind of stuff. I mean, this is how artists do this all the time. Musicians do this all. They record music, and then it sits on the shelf, and they wait to see if they can find an album or something to put it on. That's kind of the reason why and how John Lennon, God rest his soul, was able to release an album after he passed away, after he died. There's rumors that artists like Tupac and Prince and even Michael Jackson have recordings that have yet to be released because whoever is running their estate has just decided we're just going to hold on to this music. Now this is what has happened, and with Karma. In fact, the song was originally called "Karma Is a Bitch," but they were shortened Karma. Britt Smith didn't release it. It became, it sat on the shelf. And then when Jojo got it, heard it, she's like, I like this song. Let's put it on the album. And she ended up releasing it as a single, to which Britt Smith all of a sudden released it electronically or online for her. It's a weird thing. But no, Jojo did not steal the song. It was already there. But moving right along and moving forward, so she's decided to do this extreme makeover where she's all of a sudden looks real scary, and people are like, okay, well, maybe this is just something that she's doing for the album. Maybe this is just something she's doing for the concerts. Let's fast forward to her 21st birthday. To her 21st birthday, she decided to, of all things, go to a place called Epcot, the World Showcase at Epcot, and she decided to participate in something called Drinking Around the World. Now, if you have not seen Drinking Around the World, if you're not participating in Drinking Around the World, you don't know anything about Drinking Around the World in the World Showcase at Epcot, there are 12 countries. And the goal is, and it goes, and you can start in any one of them. Usually either people start in Canada or Mexico and go all the way around. And so you have Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Morocco, Japan, America, Italy, Germany, China. They have one's called the Outpost, Norway, and Mexico. And what generally happens is people start in one of these countries and they start drinking. Usually it's alcohol. And if you think about it, you start in Canada. Great, I'm having a beer in Canada. And then you go to England. Yeah, I'm having a beer in England. And then you go to France. I'm having wine in France. And then I'm having sake in Japan. And I'm having wine in Italy. And I'm having beer in Germany. And you go around. And by the time you get to Mexico, if you're not careful, you get hammered, which is exactly what happened with Jojo. Jojo got hammered at Epcot. So much so that she has now been banned from Disney World. Now, I'm going to chalk this experience up to, it's her 21st birthday and she didn't know any better. I mean, I know for my 21st birthday, my best friend put me in his car. We drove to all the bars around town, and I drank and drank and drank and drank. I know a lot of 21-year-olds who that's what they did for their 21st birthday. It just so happens that JoJo decided to do it in the most public place possible. Now, here's the thing, because a lot of people believe that drinking around the world, well, yeah, you're there to drink alcohol. Not necessarily. What happens is people they do drink alcohol, but they don't pace themselves. You could be there for 12 hours and be still be pretty sober. They don't pace themselves. They don't eat enough food. They don't drink enough water, and somewhere halfway along the way, they end up like, oh my gosh, I'm so drunk, I'm so wasted. Yeah, that's going to happen if you're not careful. But when you when you have, I mean, people just tend to just blow right through it. And yeah, I've seen a few people who have done that challenge and have ended up, blitzed. Oh, I've almost said something else. Blitzed on the ground, like what? And that was JoJo. Let's fast forward because I didn't think it was like I said. I thought pretty much that was going to be just a one off for her. Oh my gosh, she embarrassed herself. And by the way, JoJo can very well just um, make amends with Disney by saying, "Hey, I'll do a concert or I'll participate in your Christmas special," and I'm sure that they'll have her and everything will be fine. And again, I thought it was just she was just her being foolish until we got the very famous Tito's vodka thing. Yeah, remember when she got on stage and just slammed a thing of Tito's vodka? Yeah, that was quite interesting and fun. She just pulled it out and just started chugging. And again, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, because I've worked enough backstage stuff to where I know they could have very well have just replaced that vodka with water and she'd be chugging water. Well, no, that's not quite the thing. What apparently is apparently from what it said here, Siwa was coming off a slew of Pride of Fest performances in L.A., London, New York, Miami, Chicago. The performer said on her podcast that the drinking ritual made the audience go absolutely ballistic and especially became a big thing during her set in Los Angeles Pride at the park. Yeah, when you pull out a big old thing of vodka and you start chugging it, people are going to go nuts, especially when they've known you for years as being this child star. She goes on to say, I brought out a jug of Tito's and people were like, whoa, what are you doing? Is it real? Is it fake? And she said on stage, and I was like, bitch, it is what it effing is. It's a bottle of Tito's. That's when I kind of had to kind of take a step back and realize something's not right here. If so, I remember seeing somebody on social media saying that's real. She's got a big alcohol problem. She's got a major alcohol problem. If she were to go get, blitzed at Epcot of all places, and then hits the stage in LA Pride and takes a big old thing of vodka. By the way, of which she says her grandmother fully supports her drinking alcohol on stage. Now it gets even kind of crazier because at the Chicago Pride there was a I will say it was a TikToker by the name of Narcissist Vevo. He got this. He shot this video for his TikTok at her Chicago Pride. Let me play it for really quick. There she is. So she's on stage. She's dancing and she's getting the crowd in. She's got that bottle of Fireball. The audience is like, what the hell is going on? There she is. She takes a swig. In her background, dancers are all having a good time. Everybody looks. Yeah, this was about the point in time when I made a bet saying that I think Jojo Siwa will probably have 2 DUI mug shots by the time she's 25, if she keeps this up. I know it sounds crazy. I know it's like, we're all trying to figure out what in the world she's doing here. Is it like she's trying? Some are like saying that she's really trying to shed away her old image by building up this new image. Um, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of something else. Let me just pull up. Let me just pull this image up for you right here. Yeah, that is a side by side comparison between JoJo now and a 2013 Miley Cyrus, who was pretty much almost going through the same thing. She was doing her best to shed her Hannah Montana image, and um, and it was kind of crazy at the time. It was like, we were all, and in the same way, we were all kind of shocked. What is she doing? Oh my gosh, she, I remember watching Miley Cyrus, what, twerk her butt on Robin Thicke, and we all was like, what the, what? Because we were so used to seeing the Hannah Montana image for Miley, and now we're seeing the same type of thing going on with JoJo. It's kind of weird. It's kind of crazy. Um, I don't know kind of what to make of it, because at first I thought this was a giant troll job. Because if you now look, I mean, one of the things that is now come out is that, let's see if I can find this. Yeah, She Jojo Siwa jokes she's happy to beat Taylor Swift as music video tops YouTube's most disliked. That's for karma. So she's like super excited and has a very positive attitude that she has the most disliked video on YouTube, especially for a female artist. Then we start going into things with the LGBT community, like this here. JoJo faces rejection from LGBTQ plus community. Why? Well, let's read on. This is from USA Today, July 13th. JoJo Siwa once represented youth, hope, joy, youth, and hope. Given her attitude of late cursing out a fan, yeah, I didn't even go into that, and claiming she wanted to start an already established genre of music called gay pop. Siwa has now given many the ick. Okay, that's interesting, particularly those in the LGBTQ community, of which she's a member. On a recent Instagram post promoting the 21-year-old's debut EP and single "Guilty Pleasure," one user wrote, "As a gay person, we do not claim whatever this is." What another quipped, "Cannot believe the creator of gay pop missed the opportunity to have a Pride Month release." Some of the comments were supportive, but they don't change the fact that people are not jiving with Siwa's new, darker, grittier aesthetic and approach. All right, so yeah, it seems like that she's getting backlash even from the very community that she supports. I think one of the things that they were talking about with the release for during Gay Pride Month was, if she's like inventing this thing, which she claims she didn't invent gay pop, but she's basically, I guess, trying to revigorate it. I guess they're basically saying you didn't have a release during Pride. It came after Pride. She did do mini concerts, during Pride Month, which, I mean, a lot of people showed up, and she was very, very happy to do so. Um, but it just seems like she's getting the backlash from all sides. She's getting the backlash from people who were fans, who are now having a hard time adjusting to this new image, and she's getting backlash from the very people that she supports. Um, and I'm sure that's causing her, and to, of all things, become the new queen of the dislike videos. I think it's kind of like, at least she has a positive attitude about it. She's like, I at least am number one where I beat out Taylor Swift for something. Okay, it's not necessarily the one thing you kind of want to, but it is what it is. And so, she's taking it all in stride. the thing of it is well, let me just give you this last bit of thing because she had another interview and she was talking about becoming a mother. And as it says here, Jojo Siwa reveals her plans to welcome triplets with three different surrogates. First of all, when I first read this, I had no idea what in the world she was talking about. Well, I was sitting there thinking, is she pregnant or is she planning? What is the world is she talking about? And she goes on to say, I actually want to take three eggs, fertilize three eggs, and have three surrogates. Technically, they'll all be the same batch, but they would all be born separately. I'm going to have my surrogates, my babies, and then their birthdays will land on different days, and they can be like triplets, but like not, which is a trick. I mean, first of all, even if you have surrogates and it takes, there's always sadly that possibility that they could miscarry or something crazy really could happen with the pregnancies. I'm also kind of curious who she's getting on board to be the sperm donor for this crazy thing. She goes on to say not only does Siwa know she wants to have free babies, but she knows their names too, whether or not her future partner agreed to. The guilty pleasure vocalist would like to name her kids Freddie, Eddie, and Teddy. Okay. um, Again, she's 21 years old. I don't know how much of this is chalked up to um, immaturity because you're still pretty, even when you're adult, or even when you're legal, even when all that other stuff, it's still kind of like you're still kind of immature and you're still making really bad mistakes. They say that you really don't really mature until you get into your 25, which is kind of like what happened with Miley. With the older Miley got, the the wiser the decisions came. Um, she was still kind of out there, but it was still kind of like, okay, here's Miley, and she's doing her thing. Now we have JoJo, who's following in her footsteps, like almost 10 years later, and all of these people are still kind of like they don't know what to do with it. I thought for sure when I was first looking into this that this was a big troll job by JoJo, that she was trolling all of us. And why is that? Because guess what? We are all talking about her. We're all talking about her. She might be doing these antics as a way of, hey, I'm going to be out there and people will be seeing my videos and people will be listening to my music and people will be buying my album or at least very much listening to it on streaming. And I will be out there and I will hopefully have made this transformation. Me personally, I mean, I would not have done it like this with her transformation. I would have like made it a little more subtle. But I think her and her team decided, no, let's rip the band-aid off and let's just go full bore into something that is going to just again wake people up and shock them into just something new. Her new video, Guilty Pleasure, is definitely one where she takes on a lot of her, I don't know, for her haters or her admirers or her stalkers or whatever you want to call it. But it's definitely something that kind of like wakes everybody up. And there's even one little thing in there where apparently people are teasing her saying it looks like her tampon popped out. And I mean, if you look at all the dance moves that she's doing, it makes sense to me that would happen, embarrassingly enough. Um, but I think that there are just those people out there who are just they're going to bang on her and they're going to hate on her and they're going to do all this stuff simply because she's trying to run away from the image that she had created all those years ago with Nickelodeon. Now, here's the interesting part, and I think I find this kind of commendable for her, and that is that she's taken her music, the music that she's done all these years on Nickelodeon, and she's now made a new Spotify for JoJo Siwa Kids, so that those fans can still find her music. And then she's made uh, a separate Spotify for her new music, for the new stuff that she's putting out, the more adult music that she's putting out. She still continues to do. I saw in one video she's still continuing to do Make a Wish, and she's asking the questions: who are these people who are doing the Make-A-Wish? Are they 16 or are they 6? And she asked this question because she needs to know which JoJo they're expecting when they show up. She has a lot of respect for Make-A-Wish. And matter of fact, they told her, "Oh yeah, these kids are like 6 years old," and she agreed to do the big bow and the ponytail and the dresses and the ice cream and the cake and all that other stuff because she's devoted, like I mean, a lot like other people are with Make a Wish. She's very devoted to making sure that those fans are treated correctly. She could have very well have said, "Screw that! They're going to get this JoJo whether they like it or not. I've moved on from that character." She's not done that. She's still has enough respect for her older, or well, I say older fans, but her younger fans to where she's going to continue to present that image. And who knows, maybe there's a possibility she'll be doing that for a while. I do know that of all things, as I'm wrapping this up, I want to like kind of basically say this last thing. This is going to be tough for her to make this train. It's already tough because people again are they're they put her under a microscope and they're analyzing every little thing that she's doing. And some of them are like, "Oh my gosh, this is a train wreck. Oh my gosh, what is she doing? This is just horrible." Um, but this is a tough transition. It was a tough transition for Miley to go from the Hannah Montana to where she's at today, and she's actually made a very good career of it. If you look at a lot of other female stars uh, through Hollywood, through music. I mean, look at, yeah, I'll go down the list. It's like Christina Ricci, and Drew Barrymore, Kristen Dunst, and again, Miley Cyrus, and Selena Gomez, and Lindsay Lohan, and Hilary Duff, and, Miranda Cosgrove, Jen McCurdy, and all these other, young women who had to go, they basically grew up on television or in movies or in music, and they had to try to find some way to transition themselves from being that child star to that adult film star, or that adult, well, not adult film star, but you know what I mean. You know, basically transferring over so that they could be taken seriously as a grown woman. Some actually walked away from it for a little while and came back. Some are still working on trying to grow into becoming that adult, grown up. I'm trying to say this correctly, so because people are like, "The adult entertainer," ha ha ha. We know what you're talking about, Goose. But it's a tough road. I could go as far as way back as Shirley Temple, one of the biggest child stars of her age. And when she actually stepped away from movies for a little while and came back as a 16-year-old and did one film. She did one movie. And after that movie, became so disillusioned with how she was treated and how other women were treated in the industry at that time that she walked away. She had made enough money to do that. And seriously, JoJo has done the same thing. She's actually made enough money where she doesn't have to come out and entertain us, but she enjoys doing it. She loves doing it. And I hope my heartfelt opinion about this whole thing. I hope she does well. I'm sure that she'll get through this, and we will be talking about her later on as being someone else who was able to make that transition from being a child star to being a grown-up musical entertainer. Um, but she's got a tough road ahead of her, and I'll give her all the prayers in the world because I hope she does well. She's got, I mean, if she follows what Miley did, I'm sure that she'll be able to get through it just fine. As we come in and we wrap up for our first edition of On With the Show after being gone for so long, I want to encourage you to please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications when new videos are being uploaded. Give me a big thumbs up if you like the video. I hope you did. I hope you liked the video. Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up. Hope you liked the video. Leave me a comment. Let me know. And honestly, God, this is where you can come and tell me, Goose, I think you're right. I think this is, or Goose, you're totally off. I think she's going to be a train wreck. It could go either way. I am hoping that whoever is managing her keeps an eye on her and keeps her from doing anything stupid. Like I said, if she keeps going the way she's going, we could be seeing her doing a couple of, cop. What was it? What the? I lost my train of thought. But mugshots. She could be, she could be on her way to doing a couple of mugshots, and then we'll be doing another video for all the big downfall of Jojo, Siwa, and what could have been. But until then, thank you for watching On With The Show. I will see you on the other side.
Overture, curtain lights, this is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every part by heart. Overture, curtain lights, this is it. We'll hit the heights, and oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.